in pursuing higher education or a career in planning, infrastructure, agriculture, housing, or transport, APATH is designed just for you. Ready to take the leap? Apply today. For more information, please contact APATH Secretariat at 936-6231 or mpahi@gov.ky. APATH, your path to success in the Cayman Islands.
You are listening to Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
For the record, proudly brought to you by
Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury, and JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctor's Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctor's Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066. And Cayman Airways, call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Kirk Market. Experience a world of choice. And the Cayman Islands National Museum. Explore captivating exhibits and learn about our unique heritage and culture.
We ask our listeners and viewers to avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990. 949-8037 or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
Live from Radio Cayman Studio.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you.
For the Record.
Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
With Orrett Connor.
Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is For the Record.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Orrett
Connor. Good morning, good morning, good morning, O land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees. So fair. Today is Friday, the 7th day of February 2025, right here in the beautiful Cayman Islands. We do hope and we trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable evening. Those of you who are on our roads, we urge you to please be extremely cautious, whether you're a pedestrian, a cyclist, or if you're operating any type of motorized vehicle. Ensure that you observe the rules of the road, because the life you save may just be your own. Those of you who are celebrating a birthday today, or if you've celebrated one over the past few days, we want to wish you a happy birthday and to remind you that this segment of For the Record, the birthday shout-outs brought to you by Coca-Cola, who are proud to support your birthday shout-outs. Coca-Cola available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga wholesalers. You should accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. And by Yum. Daily school lunch menus are available to browse on the Yum website. Just visit yumcayman.ky for more information. Those of you who have lost loved ones, again, we want to extend our sincere condolences to you. We hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these extremely challenging times, and that the memories of your loved ones will be a blessing. I'm hearing or heard last night of possible passing of someone. I have not been able to confirm it yet, and as a result, I am reluctant, hesitant, and will not mention the family name on air. It is extremely important. While some may rely on social media posts for information, only a past few days we saw where information was put out there of a very prominent Caymanian who it was reported had passed, and fortunately that was not the case. So that is why I really hesitate about mentioning anything until I'm able to get it from reliable or official sources as well. Those of you who are ill and are either at home or at a medical facility here in the Cayman Islands or overseas, we want to wish you a speedy recovery. And again, today we take this opportunity to wish our friend and colleague, DJ Lynn, a speedy recovery as well, and also to a friend over in Tampa while she recovers also. So, folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman and by extension For the Record into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they rise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I have the pleasure and honor of being your host. My name is Orrett Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. During that period, our phone lines are open. This morning, it is the radio voice of Silver Fox, Mr. Paula Cal, waiting to take your calls or phone numbers. We have a toll-free number provided courtesy of Flow. That toll-free number is 1-800-534-8255. You can only call that number, use that number if you're calling from a Flow phone, of course. We also have two other landlines, 949-8037, 949-6990. WhatsApp number 925-3261. We can only accommodate one caller at a time there, but you can also send us WhatsApp messages as well. You can follow us on YouTube. You do that by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream, and we are on Facebook as well. So we're going to look at the birthday shout-outs brought to you by Coca-Cola as well as Yum. And first of all, I want to say thank you to all of those persons who reached out to me on Wednesday, wishing me a happy birthday as well, despite the fact that I like to really keep it as low-keyed as possible. But again, I want to thank all of those persons who reached out to me, and I want to send a special shout-out and thank you to Miss Jewel Ebanks as well for her gift basket that she sent to me, and I think I also received something from Subway. I'm not sure. I have to confirm who that came from as well, but I want to thank all of you who reached out to me. It was certainly appreciated, as well. So let's look at the birthday. And also, Miss Jewel had requested on Wednesday, and I think I missed this part, that Trudy and Roy would like to send a speedy recovery to their pastor, better known as Bobo, of the Countryside Church in East End. So I wanted to share that as well. So Mr. Gabe Powell, Sr., celebrating his birthday today. Lillian Taylor, also celebrating a birthday today. And Javon Elver, celebrating a birthday today. Tomorrow, Miss Ellen Solomon will be celebrating her birthday. Araceli Colina also celebrating a birthday tomorrow. And Marla Strobel. Also, yesterday, the 6th of February, was what would have been the 80th birthday of the legendary Bob Marley, and also the late Bunny Ruggs Clark, former lead singer of Third World as well. Also, I want to give a big belated birthday shout out to Mr. Willie Tatum. Mr. Willie Tatum, one of the finest, should I call him contractor, carpenter, whatever, one of the finest on the islands. The man can do anything, has so many years of experience, and big shout out to Mr. Willie Tatum this morning as well. Belated happy birthday greetings going out to him. And this one I failed to share on, let's see now. One of our... Oh, we have a caller on hold. Okay, let me just find this message that I should have read on. Okay, here we go. So, one of my good friends, cycling family of cyclists, husband and wife. Happy birthday from Reese, Sasha, and the Daybreakers. May you live to see many more birthdays and many more miles on the road. And they also pointed out, I'm not sure whether or not the speaker, Sir Alden McLaughlin, is listening, and Mr. Reese and Miss Sasha, they go on to say, and as a special request, Sir Alden, join us Sunday for your birthday ride. And of course, Sunday, I will do my birthday ride. I used to double my age in miles, but the last time that I did that, I think I was, 72 years old. And on that day, a group of us rode 144 miles, I think it is. But as I keep getting older, I've decided now I'm going to keep it just to the age. So on Sunday, I will do, God's willing, I will do 74 miles. May stretch it to 100 because there's some in the group who want to do 100 miles, a central ride as well, and may stretch it to that. But again, I want to thank Reese, Sasha, and all the Daybreakers and everyone else who share their birthday greetings with me. We do have a caller, Paul. We want to take the commercial break first. Okay, call drop. We're going to encourage the caller to call back. We're going to take a quick commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
Thomas Abraham Ebanks, 1882 through 1964. Mr. Abram is regarded as one of the patriarchs of West Bay. He started his life as a seaman and was miraculously saved during a storm that hit the Cayman Islands. Later in his seafaring career, he captained a mailboat which plied between Fort Myers and Okeechobee, Florida. Mr. Abram also pioneered the captive rearing of green turtles in Newtown or Governor Sound. Later in life, he started a small store. To augment his income, he became the collector of taxes in West Bay. When the government discontinued the discharge of cargo at West Bay, Mr. Abram was made the assistant warehouse keeper in Georgetown. His greatest contribution to the district was as an elder of the West Bay Presbyterian Church. Over the years, he influenced many young people to follow the straight path by his sermonettes and by his own example.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
It will be Saturday, March 1st, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. The 13th Annual Rotary Central Health Check Lifesaver, a mini medical just for you, free to you. Your blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, hemoglobin, weight management, and more. Free medical guidance, doctors, nurses, medical technicians, free glucometers, blood pressure monitors, subject to conditions. Save the date March 1. See you at Cost You Less West Bay Road, A.L. Thompson's Home Depot, Foster's Airport, Foster's West Bay, Savannah United Church. The Rotary Central Health Check 25 Lifesaver, March 1st, supported by the Lions Club of Tropical Gardens and the Health Services Authority of the Cayman Islands, knowing changes everything.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Can you imagine your home completely organized? At Brand Source Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage. With tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget. Our custom closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. Brand Source Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Step back in time and discover the rich history of the Cayman Islands at the National Museum. Located on the waterfront in Georgetown, the National Museum is proudly housed in the Old Courts Building, Cayman's oldest standing public building. Explore captivating exhibits and learn about our unique heritage and culture. Open Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And here's the best part, Saturdays are free for residents. Don't forget to visit our museum gift shop. Every purchase helps preserve our artifacts and the historic building we call home. Visit www.museum.ky for more information.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
Hi, I'm Max. What's your favorite part of school?
I love science. I love playing outside. What's yours?
It's lunch.
Ha! Yum. Yes, yum.
Yum School Lunch Program ensures your kids have fresh, healthy lunch options every day. Yum School Lunches are now available at selected private and public schools across Grand Cayman.
My favorite food from school is pasta, jerk chicken, and spaghetti and meatball.
I love Cayman-style beef, chicken curry. Yum! We love school lunch. Yum!
This is For the Record.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. I just want to say that since it's going to be the weekend, if you know someone who's celebrating a birthday over the weekend or any momentous occasion, just share that information with us. Send it to our WhatsApp number 925-3261, and we will give them a shout out in advance of that. I believe we have two callers before we go to our 8 o'clock news. Let's take the first caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Morning, OC.
Good morning, good morning. How are you?
I'm blessed. Another wonderful day above the ground, and I'm thankful.
Good to know.
Okay, there's two little things on my mind. I tried to get to you on Wednesday when Dr. Marcy was there.
Mm-hmm.
I know he's a law genius, but there used to be a law where local people was entitled to walk on the beach. I think if it's not 3 feet, it's something about the high water mark. I'll explain to you what took place and why I'm concerned.
Okay.
me and a friend was walking. We were right down in the edge of the water looking for sprat. And this gentleman rushed from his veranda and came down and, other guys can't be walking on my beach. You know how much money I paid for this property? And, my friend would tell him, say, we have the right to be there. Oh, no, this is private property. Don't you see the sign? I say to him, and I say, sir, as far as I know, the local people have the right to walk up until the high water mark.
Mm-hmm.
And we're nowhere near there. Anyway, we walked off and left him arguing and going on with his foolishness.
Mm-hmm.
Just a little bit further up, we walked and went further up the beach and went in by where the reserve, the marine reserve area is.
Okay.
No, we can't fish in, as locals, we can't fish in there. But the people who live there have the right to sit on their chair. We saw them, two of them sitting in the chair with their rod and reels out there. How can that be? And why is that happening?
Mm-hmm.
And the next thing is, people that build these private docks, if we have the right to walk the high water mark, go across, then there should be a opening for us to walk over the dock or around their dock. And what I got to say about this is that the Lands and Survey Department is responsible, because when a piece of property, a beach property, is bought by someone, there should be big, bold red letters on there saying that the locals have the right to walk X amount of feet from the high water mark through this property.
Mm-hmm.
And then there would be no argument, because I can be honest with you, my friend was getting very agitated with this man. And, one of these days, something like that may happen.
Exactly, yeah. Mm-hmm.
How they head off their body or someplace else, and then you got a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And then somebody, as I always see it, the locals are the one who's going to be the one pay the price for what happened. But prevent is always better than to have to cure. So I would suggest that the government put this in place on their lands and survey documents, the certificate, that owner certificate of property,
mm-hmm.
that they have the right, we have the right, the local people have the right to walk on that property at certain high water mark or whatever.
Right.
So that when they buy the property, they'll see it, because let me tell you something, these real estate agents, they will lie to because there's a gentleman who told me that when he was buying a piece of property, that the real estate agent told him that, hey man, don't have no hurricanes, and I wonder what I one was.
Yeah. Those real estate agents, the majority of them, or many of them, they're only interested in selling. I live in an area where they made promises to people that they would be able to build apartments when there are covenants in that area. Now the price of that particular property has skyrocketed to somewhere around about over $600,000 that they're asking for it. But it is controversial because the promises that they are making, they can't be fulfilled, because the residents in the area have been strenuously objecting to it and doing it in a legal manner, as well. So now, so many people probably have lost money based on the incorrect information that has now ballooned the cost of the property, the price of it, up to over $600,000. Whereas in that area, I think the lots go for something like about maybe about $200,000, if that much. Yeah. Caller, I want to thank you very much for that, but your point is well taken. And unfortunately, these people who come here and purchase property, and especially if they're coming from areas where they feel that they're or they have been entitled, and then come to the Cayman Islands and want to try to flex their muscle, I think they're going to find one of these days, unfortunately, that somebody is going to flex their muscle back as well. But I don't think that they're going to like the flex that they're going to get. I'm going to thank you very much. We're going to try to grab another caller. Sorry, go ahead quickly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the local person going to be the one who have to pay the price. But if the government would put this onto the land certificate, all the property that is on the beach.
Yeah, there needs to be more public. There needs to be more public awareness of, what the rights are. And I don't know if you had an opportunity to listen to Miss Alice Mako when she called in, and unfortunately we couldn't hear her out for the, all that she wanted to say because we were, short on time. But there are groups in the Cayman Islands, interested Caymanians, concerned Caymanians who are taking up this issue as well. I want to thank you very much there. We're going to try to grab one more caller before we go to our 8 o'clock news. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. O.C., and belated happy birthday wishes to you and many more happy ones. I didn't get a chance to call in on the day it was, but anyway, all the best to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yes, sir, and just called in to report we have one of the world's most luxurious cruise ships arrived off Cayman Brac at around 7:30 this morning with a capacity of on board 470 passengers, and the taxis and one school bus will be arranged for taking the passengers around on the island, and they expect to depart at 4 p.m. this evening.
Okay.
It is the biggest one that has ever arrived there. It's 64,000 gross tons, and it's will be going from here back to Cozumel, Mexico, and it's just a few months old, one of the newest cruise ships in the world, and it's a $600 million ship. That's what it costs to build her in Italy. And it has ultra-large, luxurious rooms ranging from 300 square feet with a 75 square foot balcony for its passengers. It's just ultra luxurious.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like a good ship. Mr. Raymond. But tell us, how Cayman Brac is going to react to it, and what you have to offer over there. How excited the people are in the Brac in terms of the ability to to have some cruise tourism over there.
Yes, some people is excited and prepared for taking the passengers around, but it's a bit choppy by the dock this morning. When I left my place, one tender was maneuvering to get alongside, and they're going to make an assessment. We hope that it's good enough for the tenders to go back and forth, but it's small seas running up to from 1 to about 3 feet, and we hope that it will be good enough that they can shuttle the passengers back and forth and get them to the shore so they can go around and see what the island has to offer. Mm-hmm. And there are several tents set up by the cemetery park, by the Scottsdock Park, with souvenirs and other things to cater for the passengers.
Sounds great. Mr. Raymond, I want to thank you. Thank you very much for providing that information, and we hope that the people of Cayman Brac do well with that ship in, and some people can make some good money over there as well. Folks, top of the hour, we're going to have our 8 o'clock news. When we return after the 8 o'clock news, we should have on the phone lines with us one of the announced candidates in the District of West Bay. Don't change that dial. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
Radio Cayman time check now, 8 a.m. This time check brought to you by our friends at Foster's.
Change is in the bag at Foster's. Starting February 2025, Foster's will no longer sell single-use plastic bags at checkout. Another step in our commitment to empowering a sustainable Cayman. Bag for better with our more resilient, cost-effective reusable bag designed to help reduce plastic waste while protecting our island's natural beauty. By choosing these reusable bags and repeatedly using them, you play a pivotal role in the fight against waste. Every small choice adds up to something greater. So help us make a meaningful impact for renewal. Foster's. Better because we care.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. MPs are back in the House today after spending a hefty chunk of Thursday considering private members' motions, which are recommendations for the elected government to consider implementing.
Motion to launch a national awareness campaign. To be moved by the elected member for West Bay West and seconded by the elected member for Bodden Town West.
Lawmakers on both sides of the House spent hours debating the Honorable Makiba Bush's private member's motion, pitching a campaign that will, quote, highlight the diversity and strengths of Cayman with a view of building a more inclusive society.
Diversity is our greatest asset. It is what makes us unique, what fuels our economy, and what enriches our daily lives. I am keen to help ensure that the deep divisions that exist in other countries do not grow and fester in our islands because of misunderstanding, hard feelings, and the actions of some.
The motion sparked a lengthy debate with members on both sides of the House opting to weigh in.
It's been them and us a long time, Mr. Speaker, but we've had our head buried in the sand and people don't want to address it.
You can't be going around in corporate boardroom raising a ton load of money from new Caymanians, PR holders, and non-Caymanians, and then running to indigenous Caymanians and saying, boy, you know, we need to find a way to run this country now because it's being overrun by foreigners.
We have not done enough in our schools, from pre-K straight to our colleges, in teaching and educating our Caymanian heritage, our way of life, and how we've gotten to where we are, and on the bones of who.
The motion passed with 5 ayes and 5 absentees. The Chamber of Commerce's candidate forum debates have been announced, and they kick off on March 13th. These forums will give voters a chance to hear directly from candidates. The Chamber has hosted them in each election and by-election since 1988. This year, an additional debate-style forum will be introduced for political groups and party leaders to, quote, enhance the opportunities for voters to compare policy positions. The forums are taking place at 7 p.m. at the Chamber's conference room in Governor Square. All sessions will be live streamed. And for a complete list of the debates, head to radiocayman.gov.ky and check out community events. Speaking of candidates, the People's Progressive Movement has announced 2 new candidates for its roster in the upcoming general election. Justin Ebanks is contesting the North Side MP seat, while Alva Suku will represent the party for the District of Newlands. In other news, the Harkle Theatre hosted a musical tour of Africa Thursday night as the Cayman Arts Festival kicked off the 2025 season with the African Concert Series, featuring international performers alongside local pianist Lennon Anga. Performers from the UK were pianist Rebecca Omordia, double bassist Leon Bosch, and percussionist Richard Olatunda Baker. The festival continues in earnest tomorrow night, and as CAF's Marius Gaina says, there's an extra special treat in store for local students today.
Sakoni Quartet. It's a famous string quartet from London. They are the same ones from 20 years ago when they started. And what I like at this particular group is that they will have a day earlier on Friday, 12 p.m., a concert for students. Same at Harkwell from 12 to 1, free of charge. We will just bus students from every school that is interested to come.
You can find tickets for all of this year's Cayman Arts Festival events at eventbrite.com. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which takes us out of the newscast. I'm Carsley Fuller.
BBC News with Moira Alderson. Germany's Chancellor has criticised Donald Trump's decision to impose sanctions on the International Criminal Court. Olaf Scholz said the move jeopardised an institution that tried to stop dictators starting wars. Mr. Trump signed the order during a visit by the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who's subject to an ICC arrest warrant. The UN Human Rights Chief has warned worsening violence in the east of the Democratic Republic of Congo could spill into other countries. Volker Turk urged Rwanda to end its support for M23 rebels who seized large parts of North Kivu province. Sri Lanka says nearly 60 of its nationals have been killed fighting for the Russian army in Ukraine. The authorities say many retired soldiers have been duped into travelling to Russia with promises of good pay. That's the latest. BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At Valley Med Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Boddentown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin, or the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit Valley Med Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Boddentown. Live happy, live healthy with Valley Med Pharmacy.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman with the latest up-to-date, accurate news and information. For your convenience, the headline news will be repeated on our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM, weekdays at 8:30 a.m. Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or download the Radio Cayman app in the App Store or log on to www.radiocayman.gov.ky and stay connected to what's happening in the community. Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
It will be Saturday, March 1st, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. The 13th Annual Rotary Central Health Check Lifesaver, a mini medical just for you, free to you. Your blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, hemoglobin, weight management, and more. Free medical guidance, doctors, nurses, medical technicians, free glucometers, blood pressure monitors, subject to conditions. Save the date, March 1. See you at Cost You Less West Bay Road, A.L. Thompson's Home Depot, Foster's Airport, Foster's West Bay, Savannah United Church. The Rotary Central Health Check 25 Lifesaver, March 1st. Supported by the Lions Club of Tropical Gardens and the Health Services Authority of the Cayman Islands, knowing changes everything.
The Cayman Islands Agriculture Society presents Roots Rock Reggae with reggae superstar Taras Riley live in concert at the Agriculture Fairgrounds on Saturday, March 1st, alongside Mr. Notch and Local Motion 345, Sugar Daddy, Sound Revolution, and more. It's Roots Rock Reggae going down Saturday, March 1st at the Agriculture Fairgrounds. General admission tickets only $45 and VIP $65 with access to the raised viewing platform. Purchase your tickets now at eventpro.ky. Roots Rock Reggae is brought to you by the Ministry of Planning, Agriculture, Housing and Infrastructure, Cayman Distributors, Coca-Cola, and Cayman Airways.
The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by
CG Britcay, where people come first.
Once again, good morning to you. Let's quickly take a look at your weather. This 9 minutes after 8, mostly sunny on the outside right now. Present temperature 79 degrees Fahrenheit, but it feels a little warmer than that. Winds are out of the east-northeast at 8 miles per hour. Relative humidity 82%. The barometric pressure is at 60.00 inches and falling. Synopsis as provided by the Cayman Islands National Weather Service says moderate northeast winds and seas are expected to continue across the Cayman area for the next 24 hours as a high-pressure system remains over the southeast United States. Our forecast calls for partly cloudy skies with a 20% chance of showers. Temperatures will rise to the mid-80s. Winds will be northeast at 10 to 15 knots. Seas will be moderate with wave heights of 3 to 5 feet. Later tonight, partly cloudy skies, 20% chance of showers. Temperatures will fall to the mid-70s. Winds will be east to northeast at 10 to 15 knots. Seas will be moderate with wave heights of 3 to 5 feet. We're in a high tide. Low tide will be at 1:14 this afternoon. High again at 6:16 this evening. Sunset will be at 6:20 this afternoon. The outlook is for similar weather through Monday morning. That, my friends, is the latest weather brought to you by our good friends at CG Britcay.
Take some advice from your Aunt Angie. Don't lie on your resume. Because if you say you've got trapeze experience, someone might shoot you out of a cannon and expect you to do a gymnast routine while flying through the air at 82 miles an hour. And just because you want to land on your feet doesn't mean you will. But if you're smart, you'll have CG medical insurance, so you get the best coverage for the price.
Get the best coverage for the price. CG Britcay. Good like that. All benefits are subject to policy provisions, including eligibility at the time of service.
The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by
CG Britcay, where people come first. Experience the soulful fusion of reggae and jazz with Benil Miller and his reggae orchestra at the 2025 Cayman Arts Festival. The multi-talented singer, songwriter and instrumentalist known for his unique blend of roots reggae, modern Caribbean and jazz. Saturday, February 15th at 7 p.m. at the Harkfield Theatre. Tickets are just $40 for adults and $15 for students. Call 922-5550 or email inquiries at CaymanArtsFestival.com for more details.
Biggest variety in the morning. Biggest variety.
RC Fusion.
Following the 10 a.m. news headline.
Brought to you by TCE Paint Shop, 27 Godfrey Nixon Way.
RC Fusion.
The Georgetown Farmers Market. It's time you start eating local. The market at the Cricket Grounds.
My Kinda Cleaners. Call or WhatsApp 326-3379 for your free quote today. Ministry of Planning, Agriculture, Housing, Infrastructure, Transportation, and Development. Also brought to you by Rosanna Dixon Insurance. Protect your family with critical illness coverage. Call Rosanna Dixon at 547-0952. Biggest variety in the morning. Radio Cayman.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
All right, let's take a look at the traffic. Of course, at the east-west arterial, traffic seems to have cleared up. Getting to the Red Bay roundabout, that's where you run into it. And then continuing with a slow movement into the Georgetown area. Looking down at the CUC roundabout, similar slow-moving traffic on the Linford Pearson. And continuing on Crew Road, Agnes Way, seeing some traffic as well. Also onto Bobby Thompson Way to the four-way stop. And with slow-moving traffic crawling onto Huldah Avenue to the CNB roundabout and continuing in Elgin Avenue, some continuing on Thomas Russell Way and on to the Butterfield roundabout. Of course, we see the usual traffic in that area as well, especially in the northward bound lane towards the Esley Tibbetts. Shedden Road taking in the influx, as well as Godfrey Nixon Way, Eastern Avenue. Going through South Sound as well, we see some traffic, and of course onto Walker's Road. Parents taking kids to the respective schools in that area. Traffic moving slowly up to getting up to the Hospital Road, four-way stop. Lots of traffic there as well, and feeding into the inner streets as well. So yes, still got lots of traffic this morning. Hope you get to work in time. Cayman Bracken, Little Cayman, a little light traffic this time of the morning. Urge you to buckle up and stay safe, my friends. That's your latest traffic report.
Did you know ordering your favorite sandwich from Subway just got easier? Yeah, picture this. No more waiting in line. No more fussing with cash. Just a delicious taste of Subway at your fingertips. With our new app, ordering your go-to sub is as easy as a few taps on your phone. Plus, receive exclusive deals and earn loyalty points with every purchase made on the app. Download the new Subway app today and get ready to ditch the lines and drive straight into your flavor. Visit the App Store or Google Play Store on your mobile phone and search for Subway Cayman Islands. Subway. Eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit CaymanAirways.com/cargo.
Get your tickets now for Grand Cayman's biggest one-day family fun day, the 56th Annual Agricultural Show at the Stacey Wartler Agricultural Pavilion in Lower Valley, Ash Wednesday, March 5th. Raffle tickets are on sale now at eventpro.ky and include general admission to the show. Not one, but two $10,000 grand prizes. All the fun, all the entertainment, the food, the animals, the plants, and homemade goodies. Get your raffle tickets now at eventpro.ky. The 56th Annual Agricultural Show, Ash Wednesday, March 5th.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. No guest in the studio, but as promised, we're going to have a declared candidate in the district of West Bay on the phone talking with that candidate. Paul, do we have we have a caller on hold previously. Let's grab the caller that we had on hold previously first, and then we're going to take our guest caller afterwards. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, O.C. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
Giving Lord thanks, open my eyes to see another beautiful day.
Good to hear your voice.
Yep, I just wanted to say a little thing about what the guy at I saw about calling him. I'm not sure who was. I want to say that, but they were talking a while ago about the beach.
Right.
I want to make say a little thing about that myself. But this is showing from when this all started to happen. I was like about 10 years old. We used to walk from West Bay straight up to Haida Bay. Those days wasn't nothing buildings, no lot of buildings along the beach. Where the Ritz is now is where the Galleon Beach Hotel used to be. You remember that?
Right. Mm-hmm.
The old Galleon Beach, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right about the old Galleon Beach, a little bit north of the old Galleon Beach, south, I say, coming towards Georgetown. There was a pink house on the beach there. I think they used to call it Payne House.
Jerry Payne.
I think you might remember that, right?
Yep.
Okay. That must have been, I would say, I don't know, I could have been 10, 12 years old, I'm not sure, something like that. There were a couple of 4 or 5 we used to fish every day on the beach there, because you could go out in a half an hour and catch all the fish you want. You would go up against the side of the bush and make a little fire and cook and eat it, all these kind of things. So, anyway, this day we coming up there, when we get past this pink house, they got a rope with some posts buried in the sand right straight down to the water. We say, well, what's this? What kind of thing is this? This beach, we can walk the beach and there's water on the beach. Anyway, some of us said, you know what, let me take it up there and put it up by the porch. So we took a check all the posts, and we took up the rope, and we carried it up, put it up by the post. One other day again, we were going back there, and they had it back down again. So we took it up again, and we carried it back up by the post, and we smoothed off. I remember this clean. We didn't have no paper, but we smoothed off a place right on the sand in front of the post, and we wrote in the sand. Next time, we won't be bringing it back here for you. You'll never see it again. and you know, after that, they never put it back. We never had no more trouble with that again since that. I don't remember who seen that on the beach again. That was from those days. So that's not nothing strange that if people come here and want to tell you, but you can't walk on your beach. That happened from a long time ago, too, and it's worse now. It works now. Since I want to air here, let me say the thing that...
Sure.
About the beach, not taking long, not the beach erosion down there by Royal Palms. Already, the beach has come back where they took that Royal Palms building down from. The beach is already back there. I said on the radio the other day, I told them, I said, government need to make these people, make them take all the cement off the beach. And 6 to 9 months, they would get their beach back. Well, they only got about 2 or 3 weeks working there with that, and already the sand is back. I mean, I even really had no bad weather to really push the sand up that far, but already the sand is back in that area. Now, a little bit further north, the current Cayman properties, I don't know if I should call it names or not, but they got this cement thing there.
I've seen the photographs of that, yep.
Yep, okay, out in the water. Now, I was standing on the beach there looking at it and saying, shaking my head. And some people came there, come down on the beach, and they said, what's the problem? I said, no, I'm looking at how this thing is in the water. They say, you mean we got to walk out in the water all the way around to get down to the other side of the beach? I said, well, Mom, it looks that way. It shouldn't be. I can tell you, it's not supposed to be. But that's how these people done it. And they got it like that. They said, but that's not right. I said, no, I know it's not right, and I'm on the radio all the time talking about it. They need to make, and I guess Dad owned the hurricane, so I would say that they need to make them people take all of that concrete off the beach. In a couple of months' time, they got all their beach back.
Yeah.
All the beach back. The people said to me, that's ruining the beach. I say, yes, Mom, it's ruining the beach. I can't personally do anything about it, or you sit there. But anyway, that's what I want to say. They need to make them take all the concrete off the beach. Already when they took up the Royal Palms, that's a historic building they had there, I think. If you go there and look, you'll see where the beach is already come back in that area.
Yep. I saw photographs of that, and I think we should really send out kudos to Mr. Handel Whitaker for the initiative that he took with that, because he's a Caymanian and he understands exactly, how these things work.
Yes. I agree. I agree with that. I agree with that. I give him kudos for that myself.
Yeah.
Because I think he's involved in it, so I'm sure he had something to do with moving it back and got this beach back.
He made the application to the Central Planning Authority and everything, and gave commitments in terms of what he would do, and he carried those out.
I feel good about that.
Yes.
But me and him go back a long ways. Long ways. But one thing I don't like, for the Sundays he goes up on the pulpit because he's a Christian, they say, and preaches. Then he gets on the radio and says he got to open up a place on the beach to sell alcohol to people. Now, you can't do that. So, I mean, you can do either one of the two you want, but I'm sure the Lord don't like that.
Okay.
You can do any one of the two you want. That's why I told him the other day I saw him up by Thompson's. And when I told him about it, he turned his back and walked away, and I would say the word to him. And me and him go back a long ways. Long ways. But he turned his back on me and walked away, and I would say the word. I told him, I said, and that is not right. The Lord don't like ugly. I said, you can do either one of the two you want, but you can't serve the two people. Anyway, that's all I got to say.
Thank you. Thank you very much for calling. Have a great weekend, and please stay safe as well. Paul, what we're going to do, let's take the commercial break early. This way we don't have to interrupt our guests that we have on the phone when we return. So if the guest is listening, or you let him know that we're going to take the commercial break, and then we will converse with him afterwards. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
There you go, sir. Thanks for choosing JN Money Transfer.
Boy, thanks to JN Money Transfer, I can stay right here in Cayman and pay mama bills back home in Jamaica. Her water, light, phone, and other bills never late. Every month I pay everything in one place.
Make payments to over 30 companies in Jamaica through JN Money Transfer. Fast, affordable, convenient. Call 1-800-744-1163 for details.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit caymanairways.com/cargo.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers, a compounding story.
I don't think people realize how pain creeps into your life. It has a way of robbing your strength. I really don't like taking prescription medication orally.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. They understand.
When it comes to compounded medication, it's personal. So whenever there's a problem with some medication or treatments that's not working right, then a physician will call me and say, hey, they're having bad side effects from this medication.
Compounding pain cream changed the game. Made special for me. Significant pain relief in the form of a cream. That is a new experience for me.
It's changed his life.
It worked.
Ask your pharmacist or healthcare provider about compounding at West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Call 914-6449.
This is For the Record.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We're going to our phone lines. Good morning, caller. Rather than telling our listening and viewing audience who you are, I'm going to have you introduced. To some, you need no introduction whatsoever, but we're going to have you introduce yourself. Anyway, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yeah, good morning, OC. Well, this is Rolston Anglin here. And obviously, I'm going to be a candidate in the upcoming election, candidate for West Bay North, and certainly good to be on the show with you. Thank you for asking me to come on.
Thank you for agreeing.
There's obviously lots to talk about when it comes to our island. We certainly don't have any shortage of what people would consider crucial issues. I'm not sure what you were discussing this morning, but certainly I'm in the middle of almost completing my manifesto. So I'm more than happy to discuss a range of topics with you this morning.
Certainly. First, we could start out by telling us why you decided to run in the constituency of West Bay North.
Well, see, I look at running for elections in a staged or process manner. I try to be very methodical in how I think through these things. And for me, it was firstly looking on and saying to myself, do I believe that the incumbent was doing a good job? Because if I look at any constituent and believe an incumbent is doing a great job, then I don't believe that there would be a reason for me to leave my life back in the private sector to run for office. So for me, the first step was deciding that I don't believe the people of West Bay North are receiving adequate representation. And then the next thing is to look myself squarely in the mirror and can I truthfully say that I believe I can add value and I can bring something to the table that is needed at this time. And given my previous history in the political arena, I believe I do. I believe I bring a thought process, work ethic, love of people, of country, and wanting to serve. Mm-hmm. And so that for me, OC, is how I come about those sort of very, very important decisions. Because just rolling out of bed one morning and saying, you know what, I love Cayman, so I want to run. I don't believe there's any candidate in this election who has a monopoly on loving Cayman. You know, I say that to people all the time. When I hear people say, yeah, but this person really loves the country, I said, well, I really love the country too. And we can go up and down and find thousands of Caymanians who love our country. I'm very patriotic. I'm unapologetic about being patriotic. And so for me, it was about that need that I saw. There's a leadership vacuum. There's a service vacuum. And I believe those are two critical aspects, OC. I mean, you know me well. You have to be willing to truly serve your people, serve the country, and then provide leadership. A lot of people skip that service part and simply believe they want to be a leader, right? Well, I don't believe you can be a leader without first serving your people. and in service to your people, you provide those leadership skills that are so important. So that's how I came to that decision that I would be contesting the upcoming general election.
Okay. Now, you spoke about leadership. And when we look at the political landscape so far in terms of those persons who have announced their candidacy either as independents or with some political group and some political party, and we have seen now that we have at least 3 registered political parties. You are a former Minister of Education. We know how important and how crucial education is to the Cayman Islands. It has had its ups and its downs. When we look at the current cohorts who would be contesting the elections, so far, other than yourself, I don't see anyone with that experience, as far as education is concerned. Can you comment on that in terms of if you are successful in the election? Well, first of all, also whether or not you will be running as an independent candidate or whether or not you're likely at some point in time to hitch your wagon to a particular a particular horse.
Well, that's a good question. I am running as an independent candidate, and I want to explain that for the public to understand. I believe, certainly from the last 4 years in particular, that the country is not going to support an independent-led administration, where you take a group of independents and you try to mishmash them together to form a government. That doesn't mean that the public ought not to vote for very strong independent candidates who have proven that they can work within the framework of a team and or party. I obviously was a founding member of my party and worked for 3 terms, culminating in being Minister of Education within my party. And so I understand and have that level of experience to know how you have to fit in to have the smooth operation of government within the party context. Now, I made the decision to run as an independent, and I didn't take that lightly. That was principally because when I was looking to run, at the time, there was one registered political party, and that was the Progressives. I think it's a far stretch, OC, for us, for the public, and I want the public to really, really think about what I'm about to say. So we have 2 groups who have now registered and come out as a party, and they did so in the last month. The general elections are April 30th. Is the public supposed to believe that those groups are so bound together that they will last? Because, it's quite easy to say, ta-da, we're married. But if you don't have a long courtship and proof that you have a sustained relationship way before that, I don't believe that ought to give the public any huge level of confidence that those groupings are going to last through the rigors of getting elected and then the pressures of policy making, the pressures of truly being joined at the hip when it comes to policies. There's an old saying, once a tongue learn to talk, it can say anything, right? And so just now coming out of the woodwork and less than 4 months before the elections, saying that you're now a party, I think that ought to make the public pause as well. Because if you really truly cared about Cayman and loved Cayman, haven't we seen the tumultuous nature of what has happened over the last 4 years? Why wouldn't those parties have been formed 2 or 3 years ago, working together, working in the community, and showing that they are going to be a group that can last? And so I'll leave that there for the public to really, really think logically about. I've had a discussion with a number of groups. I just felt as though I wasn't going to just jump into bed and there'd be a marriage of convenience. I thought with my background, and a number of groups have said to me, look, Rolston, if you're successful, we would absolutely love to have you as part of our government, as part of our team. And that is what my position is I'm looking on and I'm saying I'm going to run to represent the people of West Bay North and the Cayman Islands. And after the elections, we see who's elected and we put together the strongest possible government. Now, I'll add one other small thing to that, OC. I do not believe, and the public ought to look on and think this through for themselves, of the groupings that have been announced thus far. Is there any one of those groupings that the public genuinely believes are going to get to 10 seats? 10 seats together, which is the minimum you're going to need in a House of 19.
Yep.
Right? The Parliament has 19 seats, so you have to get at least 10. So I believe we are going to have a coalition government again, and I think the key thing is that we have a coalition that is going to have people who understand how parties and groups are supposed to actually function together. Be able to truly put together an agenda and come back to the public and say, here is our agenda, which includes every major topic across government, and here's the key policy positions that we're going to have for this upcoming term. As I see it, OC Cayman is in a transition during this next 4 years, and we are going to need to ensure that we come out of it with at least two very strong parties where the public can look on and say, here are our genuine choices. And that's just how I saw it, OC. Thus far, all of the people that I've met with in West Bay North have, when they've asked me that question, have been very satisfied with that answer, and they get it. They agree and understand that we are at a particular point in time, and we need people with experience, a proven track record of being able to not only serve their constituents, but be able to go to Parliament, be an effective legislator, and if you have an opportunity, be an effective minister in cabinet.
Yeah, that was going to be my question as to whether or not you had sounded out the constituency in West Bay North, or whether or not you intended to get some idea as to their preference of a candidate, either in terms of being an independent candidate or being affiliated with some political party or grouping.
And I'll say that work started for me from over a year ago.
Okay.
When people approached me, because it wasn't surprising that not long after the 2021 election, as people saw that what the country had put together and what had been put together just wasn't working, I started getting questions from them. Are you going to run in the next election? I started having people ask me that also from 2022, and I would smile and say, well, the next election, we've just had an election, and people were already very unsettled and very apprehensive about the direction of the country and where we were headed. And I made sure to say to people, look, we have an opportunity at every election to set and chart our course. And we have to give the government an opportunity to see what they're going to achieve by 23. That certainly had proven to be not optimal, let's put it that way. And so I kept asking people, well, what do you think? And I think for me, OC, I'm blessed in that I'd been given the opportunity to serve before. And so people felt very comfortable that they could trust my judgment in being an effective member of a government when that time came, and certainly over the last 2 months in particular, as I've really, really been, campaigning, as they would say, people have been very satisfied with that answer.
You want to give us a little sneak preview of your manifesto?
Well, see, I think it goes without saying that there's a heavy emphasis on education and really getting back to basics and ensuring that we bring forward a number of the very critical policies that I had started back in the 2009-2012 term. I'll give you one example. The Cayman Islands Further Education Center. The Further Education Center is an all-important second chance for our young people. Before that, obviously, you will remember if you went through high school and if you did extremely well, you could either go into sixth form or university, and you could then set yourself up in life to succeed.
Yep.
If you didn't, it was a cliff system. If you didn't get the grades, you then had to go into the workforce at 15 plus. And I saw that and lived that. I lived that myself, and saw my friends live through that. And so I always swore to myself that if I'd ever been given the opportunity, which I was in 2009, that I was not going to continue to have that sort of cliff system where way too many Caymanians had to go out in the workforce as a child. Because when you're 15 years old, as far as I'm concerned, you're still a child. 15, 16, 17 years old, still a child, and that to me was wholly unacceptable. And so you can look in the Hansards. I gave a very long explanation back then as to what the Further Education Center was intended to be, not just a center for resets and people having an option to do BTECs, British Technical Education Council courses, but that it would eventually morph into our national technical vocation and education institution. So it would become our trade school. However, people use a lot of different nomenclature for it, but to put it loosely, it would become the National Trade School. So the idea would have been that SciFec would have gotten to the point where it would have offered a broad range of resets in the day for our students. For those who had already shown an aptitude to go into the trades, they could start their trades working closely with the private sector to come up with approved courses for all the various trades. Let's use the one that people love to use a lot, plumber and electrician. You would have come up with an approved course that the private sector accepted as a course that would underpin a person becoming competent, and that they would go to school and part-time, be at work, so it would become an apprenticeship. And so during the day, our children for that year would have that jump start on getting upskilled to take up a trade. And so that question of streaming was answered if that policy had been followed through to its natural conclusion. It would have been streaming at the end of compulsory school aid, right? And so people would stream and go into whatever vocational trade they would have chosen. Superior Auto Training Program is yet another example of a program I started that would have been an approved program. So not everything would have had to have been on the SciFec site. What it would have been is having approved programs, and once those programs fell under the ministry, then that would then suffice that child was not being truant. They would have been in full-time education and be able to take up whatever vocation that they would have wanted to. And at night, this was the most important part of it. At night, we would then have other offerings for adults. So that if you're an adult already in the workforce and you wanted to upskill, you could go back in the night and offerings there as well.
Continuing education, yeah.
Exactly. So we would have really fulfilled that whole call of lifelong education.
Okay.
But
I'm going to interrupt you for a second because we're going to go to a commercial break. I'm going to crave your indulgence if you would stay with us at least for another 12 or so minutes after we return from the commercial break. Meanwhile, I'll give you one of the questions that one of our listeners has asked me to pose to you. Where do you stand with in regards to animal welfare? They speak about dogs being tied up, spray and neuter, large animals exposed to the sun and rain 24/7. Your views on that? And then there's another one. This writer says, with due respect, Mr. Rolston's comments with regard to a long-term relationship to prove that party system will work as a government has no merit, considering that people come from opposing sides to form a government, and so they have no long-term relationship. So where's the proof there as to what is going to be the best choice and beneficial to the country? And I'll just put my 5 cents in there and say what we know is not the best choice is a government trying to be run by a group of independent candidates. With that, Mr. Rolston, we're going to ask you to stay on the line. We're going to take a commercial break. When we return, the conversation will continue. Don't change that dial. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit CaymanAirways.com/cargo.
Did you know that you can send money transfers to financial institutions anywhere in Jamaica with JN Money?
You mean I can send money straight to my account and cut out the middleman?
Yes, that's exactly what I mean. You send your own money to your own account, giving you peace of mind that the money is in your account.
JN Money Transfers to Financial Institution is another convenient service offered by JN Money. You can have this done from any JN Money location. Deposit your money straight to your account without the hassle of asking someone to do it for you. JN Money Transfers to Financial Institutions, making life easier.
Your dream home starts with a vision, and often inspiration is at the heart of that vision. Brand Source Home Gallery's in-house designers are here to help bring your vision to life. Whether you're remodeling or building a new home, Brand Source Home Gallery is your one-stop solution. Explore their kitchen cabinets, sinks, faucets, bath fixtures, tubs, vanities, and more. Let Brand Source's designers help and inspire you with your next project. Call 623-5000 and schedule an appointment with a design expert at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, serving Cayman for 50 years.
Step back in time and discover the rich history of the Cayman Islands at the National Museum. Located on the waterfront in Georgetown, the National Museum is proudly housed in the Old Courts Building, Cayman's oldest standing public building. Explore captivating exhibits and learn about our unique heritage and culture. Open Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And here's the best part, Saturdays are free for residents. Don't forget to visit our museum gift shop. Every purchase helps preserve our artifacts and the historic building we call home. Visit www.museum.ky for more information.
With Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. It is my pleasure to have on the telephone with me this morning Mr. Rolston Anglin, who has declared his candidacy for West Bay North. This person has written and said, "We need you, Raleigh, in West Bay North. God knows. Hope you be successful this time, buddy. Good luck." So that was one of our listeners' comments, and one more listener. I hope you have a pen and paper. If not, I'll repeat them to you if you ask me. This person wanted to know whether or not the issue of immigration is high on your manifesto or on your manifesto at all as well. So we have the animal welfare issue. We have the political party issue, and as well as the immigration issue.
Well, see, let me deal with the animal welfare first of all. I mean, we for too long in Cayman, we have continued to, in my opinion, just be very, very I don't even know how to describe it. I'm a dog lover.
Mm-hmm.
Right now at home, we have 2 dogs. And so the whole issue of ownership and responsible pet ownership really strikes a chord with me, because long gone are the days where you simply got a dog, you didn't have a fenced yard, you didn't have a pen, you didn't have anything, and you just let your dog roam around.
Mm-hmm.
And so we do need to really push hard to not have the type of pet ownership that we have in this country, or too often, I should say, because not everyone.
Mm-hmm.
These are broad brush. But I agree with the caller. I mean, when you see a dog just tied up outside on a chain or on a cord,
Mm-hmm.
and just left to roam with that small perimeter as long as the cord or rope is to me unacceptable, right? I think people need to be told very pointedly that that's just not the way that we're supposed to have dogs and keep them. That's how I look at it.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, there are a lot of people who still look at them, oh, they're just a dog, right? I believe it's an animal, it's a life that ought to be one that is forced to be more responsible in terms of the ownership and the care. The question on the political part is, I got a little lost on that commentary. What I can say is this. Here's all I'm going to say on that point. I believe that we are at a stage where we have persons who have gotten together and registered a party.
Mm-hmm.
And those parties are only going to be as strong as their weakest link. And so when you have a party, for example, that I see one that has come out, where not a single person in that party has any legislative experience, not one, and that the country is supposed to go and elect a group that has no legislative or administrative experience, and we as Caymanians expect that just because they're a party, that means you're not going to have the type of collapses that we saw with the group of independents in this last term, I think, in my opinion, would be foolhardy. Because, trust me, when those pressures hit, and they will hit, where constituents are coming with all of their varying opinions and priorities, and you get major policy concerns, and let's use the one that your last question that I want to address, which is immigration.
Uh-huh.
So I can answer that caller, that author, quite clearly. Yes, immigration reform features heavily in my manifesto. I believe that immigration reform is so critical that we're at a crossroads as to what Cayman looks like and who the Cayman Islands are. I have some very strong opinions. A lot of them are going to solicit, I believe, some criticism from certain quarters, in particular the business community. But having been a legislator before, and OC, one of the things that a lot of people wouldn't know is that the two of us worked together on the first immigration review team.
Yes.
When you were the chief immigration officer of this country.
Mm-hmm.
And OC, for us to have gone from the point where we decided back then that looking at all of the obligations that the Cayman Islands have, and I think this is a key point, OC, that continues to get lost. When it comes to immigration, we have to understand that the United Kingdom has certain obligations, and the British Nationality Act is actually a UK act.
Yep.
And that's what drives our citizenship. Right? I think up until today, a lot of people still don't realize that there's a huge difference between Caymanian status and a BOTC citizenship.
Exactly,
right?
yes.
Because Caymanian status is a legal status to reside in the Cayman Islands with free of immigration restriction or control and be free to do things like business ownership, etc. Whereas BOTC Cayman Islands is the actual citizenship. And so, however we construct our legislation, the UK is going to look on and have a view as to whether or not the governor should assent to that legislation if they do not believe it fits within the framework of their international obligations.
Mm-hmm. And if I could, add in there as well, that they have left that part, the immigration part, for local legislation for our local legislators to deal with. And like you have, and in the past, it was actually under a government official immigration until it was moved, into the responsibility of an elected minister as well. So again, that was a step forward. And so far, if we look at the history of it, so far when it comes to immigration legislation, we have not seen any reluctance or any movement on the part of the UK to disallow any legislation that we have put forward, even when it is intended to protect Caymanians.
Sure. The only point I was making there is that sometimes if you listen to what people say, some of the things that we do come up with, if we believe we can be completely prescriptive, that they are going to have a view. I don't believe that there's anything, as you quite rightly said, that have been proposed thus far, and certainly there's nothing that I'm going to propose. But having said that, there's going to be a number of changes that I'm going to propose, which one of them starts with the very basis of our immigration law, and that is that Caymanians have said, who are we? Define what a Caymanian is, because they become very insulted and very just believe that the country isn't for us anymore, simply because there's nothing in the law that actually says who we are. And so I'm proposing that we're going to have a definition in the law of a generational Caymanian, and that a generational Caymanian would be, as we have it now in legislation, a person who is a Caymanian as of right. That is, your parent, your grandparent was a Caymanian at the time of your birth, and that all of the persons who then acquire that legal status would simply be known as status holders. And notice that I said status holders. The other thing that I'm looking at, OC, that I believe we need to get back to is we need to keep the gate of immigration using a rollover. We started this process, this journey 2+ decades ago, having a very hard rollover policy that has been watered down and whittled away over the last 2 decades. And so we're back to having the floodgates open again. We're back to having thousands of people apply for permanent residency and then moving on to status. And I believe we need to go, we've reached a stage, population growth-wise, where we have to say, this country needs an opportunity to breathe. And so my proposal around that is going to be that we have a hard rollover policy at 7 years, that we then have a moratorium on the grants of permanent residence and Caymanian status at a minimum of 24 months to clear the current backlog, and for the new administration to then come to grips with where we are population-wise, labor market-wise. Now, one of the things that we both remember, there was a huge criticism that we were creating a two-tiered system in our country. I don't believe that we can continue on down the road where the public service is exempt from work permit and rollover. I believe that government itself has to prescribe to the very same rules that it gives to the private sector. And as you know, one of the things that happened shortly after this first iteration of going on this journey of immigration reform was that people in the private sector very quickly, and a lot of them, started applying for government jobs purely to escape the rollover. And so in my proposals, there would be a freeze on any non-Caymanians moving to the public service. I don't believe that we can continue to leave that escape hatch, as it were, open, because that would be a huge weakness in the system. I think we also need to go back to having some sort of national service for scholarship recipients. We send hundreds of Caymanians overseas, but at the same time, we're employing hundreds of non-Caymanians into government roles.
And then those Caymanians have to come back and try to fend for themselves.
That's right, and so that has to end, OC.
I'm gonna interrupt you there. I'm gonna be like a politician this morning and break my promise. I asked you to stay on until 9 o'clock, but I want to give you an opportunity for some closing comments, and I also want to hear about the fact that I know you're a big Ohio State fan, and I heard this morning that you were invited to go fishing when the national championships game, was being. I want to find out whether or not you went fishing or whether or not you watched your favorite team. So we're going to ask you to hold on for a few more minutes. We're going to go to headline news, which is very quick. When we return, the conversation with Mr. Rolston Anglin will continue. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Since 1976.
Covering Grand Cayman, no Cayman, on right. One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
The Border Control Minister withdraws government motion number 6 on the proposed amendments to the Immigration Transition Act set out in the Immigration Discussion White Paper. After tabling the White Paper earlier in the meeting and following up with a statement on the matter on Tuesday, the minister told MPs it would be, quote, redundant to comment more on the paper, which is open now for public consultation. Sky News is reporting that 2 people have died after a plane crashed into vehicles on a busy road in the Brazilian city of Sao Paulo. A fire department spokesman confirmed the deaths after 2 bodies were found in the wreckage of the aircraft. The plane, a small twin-engine Beech F-90 King Air, crashed on the avenue in Barafunda at around 7:20 a.m. local time. Images and video footage is circulating on social media showing a bus on fire in the aftermath. And the International Criminal Court has vowed to continue its judicial work after U.S. President Donald Trump signed an order to impose sanctions on its staff. The ICC said it, quote, stands firmly by its personnel, and the order seeks to harm its, quote, independent and impartial work. Trump's order accuses it of, quote, illegal and baseless actions after the ICC issued an arrest warrant for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu over alleged war crimes in Gaza, which Israel denies. The ICC has also issued a warrant for a Hamas commander. Those are your headlines. I'm Karsley Fuller.
More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Do you have a healthcare question but not sure who to ask? Contact HSA's Patient Call Center to speak to one of our experienced clinical team members. We are here to answer your questions and help guide you through your healthcare journey. Need to make an appointment? Our team can help. Contact HSA at 949-8600 or email info@hsa.ky. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. I want to thank Mr. Rolston Anglin for indulging us a little further than we had indicated originally. I don't know which one you want to take on first, the football or...
Well, we'll see. I honestly, I don't remember the second one right now. But,
okay.
Perhaps you need to remind me.
Uh-huh.
Well, we can take on the football one first.
Sure.
So I know quite well who would have asked you to ask that. We won't call his name on air. But I'll remind you, OC, that I'm not a big fan. That's my alma mater, right? And so I lived up in Columbus, Ohio for those 3+ years because, of course, I had transferring credits. for those 3+ years of my life, and that I'm a proud Ohio State alumni. And so, obviously, on the night of the national championship, I was not going to be anywhere than to be glued to the TV. and so I'm very proud to say that we won that national championship and we're defending champs. And so obviously it's a very exciting time for me to be a Buckeye. Remind me again what was, the wrap up.
Yes,
So, OC, obviously I've just given a taster of some of the policy positions that are going to be contained in the manifesto. I think people should be looking on at manifestos and looking at the policy positions as to whether or not they think they're good for Cayman or not. Because remember, because it's in my manifesto doesn't mean it ought not to be something that others consider as well. And so I'm going to encourage the public to look at as many manifestos as they can. And if they see something in one that someone else doesn't have, that doesn't mean you don't bring it up and say, this is what I saw elsewhere, and I think it's a good idea. Because no one's going to have a monopoly on good ideas for Cayman. What I encourage the public to do, though, is to look at them critically and then look at the individuals and say, do you believe they can actually bring those policy positions to fruition? Can they be trusted to bring those? Because anyone can write a manifesto. I think, we'll see you and I, as I said, work together in government, together in quotes, because you were our first cabinet secretary as well. And I think people will know, and from my history, that I certainly am a person of action, and that's why I achieved so much when I was Minister of Education in such a short period of time. I don't believe those opportunities come by every day, and so when they come, you need to be thoughtful, strategic, and show that leadership so that the civil servants will know what the policy priorities are and are going to be on board with you. I hear complaints now from the public of, it seems like the public service is running the country. And I say to people who say that, then you just have to look at who's in cabinet. Because the fact of the matter is, if you have a strong policy position, I would dare say that chief officers and public servants are going to rally behind you as Caymanians and ensure that they help you deliver that policy position. That is certainly what I experienced when I was there, and so I can't speak anything different. And I look forward to the general elections, God's willing, and the lead up, and God's willing, hopefully I'm successful and can be working with some of those good hard-working civil servants again to deliver the services and the policy priorities that we know is going to benefit our Caymanians for generations.
One more question before you go. This person wrote and said that you speak about immigration, but weren't you a part of the party who was in charge of the mass grants that happened? They say in 2001, it actually was in 2003. Says those giveaways are directly affecting us now. How do you respond to that, writer?
I respond to that writer by saying that since then, there's been more than 10,000 grants of status. And so whether they were granted through our cabinet or they've been granted through the board process, they're still granted. And the vast majority of people who were granted under those mass grants of status would have gotten Caymanian status in any event. Now, all I can tell you is, OC, I was in my freshman year as a legislator. I was a backbencher, and I was not in the cabinet at the time when those were granted. That started out with what was supposed to have been 500 grants for the quincentennial year, which was our 500th celebration. And as you remember, that was as we were winding down our first immigration review team's work, which culminated in the legislation being passed late December and coming into effect 1 January 2004.
Precisely.
For people who want to live in the past, they can live in the past. The fact is, we are where we are right now. We are 7th of February 2025. We have to deal with the issues and the problems now. To say that those are directly, how do those directly affect over 10,000 plus grants since that time? I can't see any way that it does. It goes to show that if we don't have a strong rollover policy, if we don't give our country a chance to breathe and be able to then move forward, once the next administration can truly come to grips with what our labor market looks like, what the society looks like, because we have done something that most of the countries would never have experienced. And I think the Cayman Islands just has to have a time now where we have a pause, amend the legislation, have a moratorium on grants of permanent residency, and start Caymanian status through tenure, and we move forward.
Yep. And I'm glad you mentioned that portion there about a moratorium and the grant of permanent residence, because in your early discussion about the British Nationality Act and Caymanian status, and pointing out to our audience that while we may have control over local legislation in terms of immigration and Caymanian status, that the nationality comes through the British Nationality Act. Now, we also, that pause on permanent residence, extremely important, because what a lot of people don't realize is that once you grant a person permanent residence, after 12 months, that means being free from any limitation on the time that you may remain in the Cayman Islands. After 12 months, you can then apply to be naturalized as a British Overseas Territory citizen, and you then are eligible to get that passport that says Cayman Islands on it. I believe that the British would have an interest, British authorities would have an interest in this whole permanent residency thing, because it is also a stepping stone for that person to become a British citizen as well, which is my helps to support my viewpoint that I don't believe that we're going to get a lot of pushback from the UK if we were to say, listen, we need to slow down this whole issue of permanent residence, and maybe only consider permanent residence after a person has completed their work history in the Cayman Islands. They are retired. We can then look at them to see whether or not they have the wherewithal financially and otherwise to be permanent residents of the Cayman Islands.
Absolutely. And so, see, I agree, and I think anyone listening would have heard, obviously, the few points, because I have 2 pages of immigration reform. I just gave a teaser of some of the major points, and I don't see the UK pushing back on any of them, because it's going to protect the Cayman Islands' interests, Caymanians, and actually, as you just quite rightly said, their interests as well.
Okay, Mr. Rolston Anglin, I want to thank you very much for making yourself accessible, and I want to point out to you that between now and the 3rd of March, which is nomination day, while I'm on For the Record, you're free to call in, or if we can arrange to have an interview with you like we have had this morning. And of course, when it comes time where Radio Cayman will be looking to earn some revenue as well, we welcome you to come on the show, in that regard as well. But I want to thank you very much. And, some of the positives, receiving a lot of positives from our listeners in relation to you. This person says, hope he gets in this election time. That law needs to be changed, as it is too soon for a PR person to be able to apply for naturalization. Talking about the 12 months. Let's see, this one is fairly long. This person says, good morning, OC, and happy birthday, my friend. Like what I'm hearing from Raleigh about the work permit issues and rollover, etc. And yes, agree that the civil servants should have work permits too. I think you mentioned that, but I believe what you meant was that they should be subject to the rollover period as well. And then they go on to say the other thing, yes, the country does not plan properly as we send kids away to school, but should have them learning the type of jobs that the work permit holders are doing, so that old kids can come back, or our kids can come back to take up those jobs, etc., and have Caymanians shadowing the high jobs to take over from them when their permits are up as well. So I want to thank that writer for that.
Yes, thank you very much, OC, and those are right along the thoughts of. Thank you, OC, for the reach out this morning, and thanks to Radio Cayman and your listening audience. And certainly from the feedback, clearly people are listening.
Yes,
so,
definitely.
Thank you very much, and hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, and you do the same as well, and stay safe during the weekend as well.
That's right.
Thanks again. Okay, folks, for those of you who are chomping at the bit to get on the phone lines, I'm going to let you know now, the phone lines are open. We have 2 callers on hold, and we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we return, we will take those callers. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit caymanairways.com/cargo.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers, a compounding story.
I don't think people realize how pain creeps into your life. It has a way of robbing your strength. I really don't like taking prescription medication orally.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. They understand.
When it comes to compounded medication, it's personal. So whenever there's a problem with some medication or treatments that's not working right, then a physician will call me and say, hey, they're having bad side effects from this medication.
Compounding pain cream changed the game. Made special for me. Significant pain relief in the form of a cream. That is a new experience for me.
It's changed his life.
It worked.
Ask your pharmacist or healthcare provider about compounding at West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Call 914-6449.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the People's Station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We have several callers on hold. Let's grab the first caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Hello.
Good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, OC.
Yep, you're on.
I'm on?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Yeah, OC, talking, I heard, thing to Raleigh and the immigration matter there, and concerning status, OC. It's always this big cry, OC, about their runaway status grant back in the day. I in no way supported that. I was 100% against that. But, OC, we haven't learned any lessons from that, because compare the numbers of giveaway status that we did then and the amount of people that have got it since that. We haven't learned anything, and we haven't done anything to bring any legislation or any changes or an amendment to the immigration law to curb the easily giveaway of status, because, OC, it just is
is just as bad as in my opinion, as the giveaway, because the people that I see and I'm hearing that have gotten status. Now I know people coming from Timbuktu, and just because they were here for 9 years, and they pooled together and got a piece of property, now that qualified them to be a Caymanian. So the status grant that was given away by cabinet, and the ones that are given now has outnumbered them like 4 times the amount I understand. So it's no different. No different. Status grant is status grant. It's still adding up to it's still adding up to put us in the minority.
Yeah. But, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. So I'm saying we haven't learned anything. I thought by that, and you know another thing that got me. I understand because it was cabinet that issued those status grant. In my opinion, the UDP government lost election because of that. The incoming government, would it not, see if you were the leader, would you not open up an investigation into every single soul that had received that status in a cabinet capacity to investigate and see whether those people were eligible to have those status? That's what I would have done. I would have called everyone back. And those that I think should get it, you go through, and then, we would make them keep it. But a lot of people I'm hearing that hear about it, he was in prison, he was off the island, he didn't apply, somebody just put his name down. I would have gone through the whole thing, as cabinet, instead of, but I think what happened, a lot of them used that mishap to justify them being able to give status.
Well, there was always that question of the legality of those status grants, but no one chose to go to court to actually challenge it, because I believe when you look at the legislation, there was nothing specific in the immigration legislation at that point in time that allowed cabinet, to grant Caymanian status, but no one ever challenged it. Now, talking about the status grants that are being done now by the Status and Permanent Residency Board, or I think they're the only ones that can grant it. I'm not sure if the administrators are involved in this, but those bodies are bound by the legislation that we have in place. And if the person qualifies based on receiving 110 points, then they are legally bound to grant status. You can't make up reasons as to why it can't be granted. That is why some people are saying that maybe there should be an amendment.
The point system is wrong in the first place,
but it's there. So in order for it not to be effective, you would then have to go and amend the immigration legislation to remove that provision from there. And when you remove it from there, that only covers applicants coming going forward from that point. You still have the ones that are already in train or already in the pipeline that you have to deal with. So we still have huge issues to deal with. The longer it takes, the longer it takes for us to address this issue, then the more complicated it gets at the end of the day. You saw what happened. You saw what happened in Parliament just recently. I think it was yesterday. I haven't been able to listen yet, but that white paper, I'm told, based on what I'm hearing on the news, that it was withdrawn. Our politicians won't even throw a little crumb to the Caymanians who are concerned about these status grants and being, overrun in their own country. They won't even throw a little crumb to say, here's what we want, we want to do.
Well, see, that is what I just said. We have not even learned a lesson from the giveaway status grant to be able to put something in place to stop it from going forward. So if we don't draw the line now, like you say, we might have a backlog now that we won't be able to stop. But at least going forward, how much longer are we going to sit and complain about us being in the minority. How much more minority we got become? What I mean, there's not gonna be too many of us left to be able to complain. Or see, because who we got complain to? Won't be nobody to complain to, but the people that got came and status, and they wouldn't be listening to us. So when are we going to draw the line? When are we going to bring a motion to change the way we give a start? And don't tell me nothing about point system, because the things that people are getting points for, or see that too. If our people would to come back here, they would put a real good beating on us. Or see the things you got walk a dog, or see, and get points for that. You got when it's convenient for you, go out and do what you call community service to get points, to get my butt rights. That's wrong. Or see, no other country in the world do that. Only us and our handkerchief head politician are too scared. Is it scared? What is it? Or say, or you got name for the reason why they don't try and bring do some amendments, because the Constitution is hard to go at, but the immigration law can go at, and the Constitution gives us opportunity to change what the immigration law says, right? That'll be the easiest way to go about it.
Yep.
So, well, what's the problem, OC?
Don't know, but we don't expect anything to happen between now and the 3rd of March.
Or see, if nothing ever happened for 3.5 years, I don't expect anything to happen.
All right, Lord Graham, we're going to take a commercial break and try to grab a few more callers. Okay, folks, we have another caller on hold, I believe, or a few. We will take your call as soon as we return from this commercial break. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Can you imagine your home completely organized? At Brand Source Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage. With tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget. Our custom closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. Brand Source Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Step back in time and discover the rich history of the Cayman Islands at the National Museum. Located on the waterfront in Georgetown, the National Museum is proudly housed in the Old Courts Building, Cayman's oldest standing public building. Explore captivating exhibits and learn about our unique heritage and culture. Open Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And here's the best part, Saturdays are free for residents. Don't forget to visit our museum gift shop. Every purchase helps preserve our artifacts and the historic building we call home. Visit www.museum.ky for more information.
with Orrett Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We're going back to our phone lines. Next caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yeah, good morning, OC. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm fine. How are you, sir?
I'm not doing bad, my friend. I'm giving God thanks for another beautiful day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how it is that my friend up east, and they always beats me to it, but my goodness, I timed a conversation with you and Mr. Rolston. They perfectly thinking I will get on as soon as you hang up, but I don't know how. Graham can always be but he might watching me when I press the buttons. I don't know.
Or he may be here in the studio.
or he put it close.
Yeah.
I don't know why he don't run for election, but I mean, that man is strong in his beliefs and learning more every time you listen to him. He really improving. But what I called for this morning, and first of all, I just want to say it was a beautiful sight this morning to see that cruise ship come in there, Weston. That was a beautiful sight. Also, knowing that was the biggest we got here so far, and beautiful brand new ship, beautiful color. She was black and striped red and white. A beautiful ship. But it was sad to see her turn away. Our seas didn't permit for that to happen.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah.
Yeah. She's going into Grand Cayman. So, sad day, but I just want to mention something I heard early on this morning on the show when someone was speaking about this beachside property with the boundaries and planning giving permission for people to build these docks and out in the water from their properties. And see that is a problem that we see in these islands, and we don't have a solution, or it seems like nobody want to find a solution to stop these things from happening. Because if I walking on the beach and for me to go to the other side of the beach with all this dock is or facilities that they house their boats or whatever they do, I mean, I got to go up on the road, walk all the way around the property, and come back out on the next side of the beach. And I probably end up doing that 4 or 5 times before I end up walking on the good beach that I want to walk on. I don't understand how it is that the planning sees the little things that the Cayman people do, but they're overlooking the monoman and the foreigners that doing as they please in the Cayman Islands. I mean, where does it leave us in our future for us to one of the things I love to do is take my family and walk on the beach, look at the shells, collect shells. But then when you guys be stopped by people that has these properties, they comes out and say, "What you doing walking across my beach?" I mean, where does that say his name on that? In the High Mark, it doesn't seem like they respect anything about High Mark, because they cleans their beach right down to the where they swim out. And I give a point one time, me and my family was out looking jacks in the shallow water. You look jacks in about 6 feet of water in a small boat. And it got so bad that the people that own the land, the house on the beach, swam out about 150 feet out to me and told me I need to go further out looking jacks. I'm fishing across the property.
Wow.
I mean, see, where is the Cayman people? Where are we going? What is our future? And I had my children there in the boat. I mean, they were so shell shocked from what the people were saying. I couldn't believe it. I said to them, you know what you do? I say, you stay right. This is what I told him mostly. I say, you stay right there where you is. And when I coming back east, if that hook you, so be it. But you don't have no right to come and tell me I can't fish out in the sea. And then you go to plan, you go to these different departments, the department of the DOE, you complain, and all they can say that they can't do nothing because people got their rights. What do you mean people? So I don't have no right in my own country neither. So I'm a Cayman and I don't have no right. And it's a sad situation we face in OC. But you know what will happen? Like what our gentleman was saying this morning, when somebody got put up their muscles and fight, then it got to be the disaster way part. The Caymanians got to be the one that go jail in a way. But the thing about it is the Caymanians got to be the one that has to face the fact of knowing that we have the right to preserve for our generation.
Mm-hmm.
The people want to come in here just to see the pot of water and take what out of it. They can go off the shore and dive with tanks and take what they got to take and come shore. And nothing said and done. And I mean, the Caymanians got to struggle, because I mean, today we are in a bind. We can't even see over our own shoulders anymore. If we could look back, we can't see over our shoulders. We looking forward, we can barely see over our mouths, much less anything else. I don't know what the procedures got to be in this country, but if someone does step down on planning and seriously put the pressure on them to make foreigners come in this country and say, listen, I can come in and build if I have the right to build, but I cannot treat the people and I have to allow the people to get access to the bayside. You know how I see it binds me this morning to know that this same thing happening came on Brock here, but it just rips me apart to know that this is the kind of life that we got to live in these little islands that was so beautiful, ours and everything. We losing everything just for stupidity. You know how I see.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much, caller. Paul, any other callers on hold? That's it for the callers. Okay, let's see what messages we have. This person says, thanks for having Rolston on. West Bay North needs someone with experience and knowledge. Great interview. Thank you for that. And this person says, I'd like to join the caller in regards to Graham Rankin, Lord Graham, running for in the elections as well. That's interesting. Lord Graham, I'm not sure which party you're going to join, but a lot of people want you to get out there and become a candidate as well. Oh, by the way, today, the 7th of February, 2025, elections are being held in Turks and Caicos Islands. And just a little bit of correctness in terms of the terminology that we use. Some people refer to it as a general election in the Cayman Islands. It's actually general elections, plural, because an election is held in every constituency. They're all held on the same day, but they're held in every constituency. So that is why it's referred to as general elections as opposed to general election where you have one election island-wide, as well. Also, what I'd like to share with you, we hear people talk about us going back to the old Caymanian protection law. And there was some good, really, really good parts. I had a long debate, with someone who I debate quite often. Many things we agree on, some things we don't agree on. I learn from that person. They learn from me as well. But how many of you know that the original law, the Caymanian Protection Law of 1971, which came into effect on the 27th of March, 1972, right, had definitions in there that not even our Constitution has today, because our Constitution says that Caymanian status is the term Caymanian has the definition that is being assigned to it in our immigration legislation. Well, folks, the 1971 Caymanian Protection Law says Caymanian status has the meaning assigned to it in Section 14, and I'll tell you what Section 14 says. But it also goes on to give two other definitions of Caymanian status as well. Caymanian status as a right has the meaning assigned to it in Section 15. I'll tell you what that said. And Caymanian status by grant has the meaning assigned to it in Section 17. Now, we know that this day and age, people say, well, you Caymanian, irrespective of the fact that you received it based on being naturalized and being here for a given period of time, whether or not you obtained it by marriage, whether or not you obtained it by grant made by a recommendation by the board to cabinet, who then which then takes it to our parliament. People say, and correctly so from a legal standpoint, we make no distinction between whether or not you are born Caymanian or you obtain Caymanian status in other ways. But our 1971-72 legislation had that distinction. Also, in our 1971 legislation, when it came to deportation, there was a part in there talking about if you you became persona non grata if you've been convicted and sentenced to a term of imprisonment exceeding 12 months. Well, our 1971 legislation was not so generous. And here's what it said about convicted and deportable person means a person in respect of whom any court certifies to the governor that he has been convicted by that court or by an inferior court from which his case has been brought by way of appeal of any offense punishable with imprisonment otherwise than only in default of payment of a fine, and recommends that a deportation order should be made in his case either in addition to or in lieu of sentence. So it didn't make that 12 months distinction. If you were convicted for any offense that was punishable with imprisonment, you could be deemed a convicted and deportable person as well. So let's look quickly at Section 14, if I can find that very quickly first, to see what the definition was on that. Scrolling down, folks, bear with me. Section 14 says that every British subject who is qualified as of right for Caymanian status under Section 15 or has been granted Caymanian status under Section 17 and has not in either case lost such status is a person of Caymanian status. Then Section 15 talks about the fact that every British subject, listen to this one, folks, every British subject who was born in the Cayman Islands or of parents at least one of whom at the time of his birth was domiciled or ordinarily resident in the Cayman Islands or has been domiciled in the Cayman Islands at the time of the coming into effect of this law, which I said was the 27th of March 1972, and has been declared to be so domiciled under subsection 1 of Section 16 or has been ordinarily resident in the Cayman Islands for a total period of 5 years out of the 7 years immediately prior to the coming into effect of this law. So our 1971-1972 law speaks to the fact that if you were born in the Cayman Islands or of parents who were residents, so anyone born in the Cayman Islands prior to the coming into effect of the 1971-72 Caymanian Protection Law possessed Caymanian status. After that, if you were born in the Cayman Islands and you had parents, one of whom was domiciled or ordinarily resident in the Cayman Islands, then you possess Caymanian status as well. Folks, with that, we're going to take our last commercial break. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
She hear clunk and our car stop. I was just about to send her some money, so I send it straight to her JN Money transfer card. It cost me less, and props, she use the card pay the garage right away. She'll get discount through the JN Rewards program in Jamaica. This card make things easy. You can even get funds at any multi-link ATM.
JN Money Transfer Card. Fast, affordable, convenient. Tell your loved ones in Jamaica about it. Sign up is free.
Your dream home starts with a vision, and often inspiration is at the heart of that vision. Brand Source Home Gallery's in-house designers are here to help bring your vision to life. Whether you're remodeling or building a new home, Brand Source Home Gallery is your one-stop solution. Explore their kitchen cabinets, sinks, faucets, bath fixtures, tubs, vanities, and more. Let Brand Source's designers help and inspire you with your next project. Call 623-5000 and schedule an appointment with a design expert at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, serving Cayman for 50 years.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers, a compounding story.
I don't think people realize how pain creeps into your life. It has a way of robbing your strength. I really don't like taking prescription medication orally.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. They understand.
When it comes to compounded medication, it's personal. So whenever there's a problem with some medication or treatments that's not working right, then a physician will call me and say, hey, they're having bad side effects from this medication.
Compounding pain cream changed the game. Made special for me. Significant pain relief in the form of a cream. That is a new experience for me.
It's changed his life.
It worked.
Ask your pharmacist or healthcare provider about compounding at West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Call 914-6449.
If you or your loved one is facing cancer, only Sylvester will stand firmly by your side at every step, from diagnosis through survivorship, providing you and your family peace of mind and assisting with everything you need before, during, and after your stay with us. Sylvester Comprehensive Cancer Center is South Florida's only NCI-designated cancer center and specializes in treating the most complex cancer cases. Your first-class cancer care is just a flight away. Learn more at sylvester.org.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. No callers on hold. We have about 12 minutes before the show is over, so if you plan on calling in, please do so now. So just again an explanation as far as the 1972 Caymanian Protection Law is concerned. So other than the Aliens Act that we had with 1965 Aliens Act, this is our first comprehensive piece of immigration legislation that was introduced in the Cayman Islands. And going back to Bermuda, everyone's circulating what the premier of Bermuda had to say about Cayman and not making the mistakes that we made here in the Cayman Islands. Our Caymanian Protection Law was crafted on the basis of the Bermudan Protection Law. That's where we got a lot of our ideas from at that point in time. And we adopted many of the provisions of the Bermuda Protection Law. Fortunately for Bermuda, they retained a lot of theirs. Here in Cayman, we wanted to be progressive. We wanted to be so progressive that in 1984, well, prior to that, we had persons like members of our Legislative Assembly like Mr. Truman Borden, who introduced an amendment to the Caymanian Protection Law in 1977, which required that just by virtue of your birth in the Cayman Islands did not allow you to acquire Caymanian status like the 1972 law made provisions for. Remember what I said there? It says every British subject, if you were a British subject and you were born in the Cayman Islands or of parents at least one of whom at the time of his birth was domiciled or ordinarily resident in the Cayman Islands possessed Caymanian status, right? We used those very tricky legal terminology then, the word domicile, ordinarily resident, a little bit more clarity to that. But we have seen, and I'm no lawyer, I don't profess to be one, at all, and I never stayed at a Holiday Inn. But the whole issue of domicile, we have heard arguments saying that it's a state of mind as well. It can be a state of mind. So the person, when they came to the Cayman Islands, they had all the intentions of making the Cayman Islands their home. So in their mind, they were domiciled here. I've heard about legal arguments being made along those lines. Anyway, Mr. Truman Borden recognized the fact that this 1972 legislation was a little bit too liberal. So what he did was, for the avoidance of doubt, and you had to have one parent born in the Cayman Islands and both parents domiciled in the Cayman Islands or ordinarily resident in the Cayman Islands. That was the amendment that he made to try to stifle the number of grants in the early stages, 1977. Then, of course, in the 1980s, he even went farther, because at that time there was there was a quota. I think it was 10 or 12. I'll double check it. Not this morning, but I'll double check it. A quota of 10 or 12 status grants that would be allowed in each year. You know what Mr. Truman Borden and his colleagues in Executive Council, which is now Cabinet, did? They set the quota to 0, none. And they placed a moratorium on the grants of Caymanian status. Of course, those days, those persons who feel entitled or felt entitled were not as litigious. They didn't fly to the courts as most people do today. But we did have several test cases in relation to this. The late James MacDonald, the late, I think Desmond Seals may have been involved, the late Desmond Seals as well, but I know definitely the late James MacDonald, because there was a provision in the 1972 law that allowed for, and I'll read it to you, it says, any British subject, and while Mr. James MacDonald was a Canadian, he was still a British subject because Canada was part of the Commonwealth. Any British subject claiming to be of Caymanian status by virtue of paragraph A or E of section 15, or claiming to be ordinarily resident or domiciled in the Cayman Islands for any purposes of this law, may at any time apply to the Grand Court for a declaration to that effect, and the declaration of the Grand Court in that behalf shall be final and binding for all purposes of this law. So if you felt that you were domiciled or ordinarily resident in the Cayman Islands during that from 1972 or before 1972, you could go to the Grand Court, have the court make a declaration to say that you were domiciled or ordinarily resident here, and on the basis of that, you obtained Caymanian status. So we see why we had to go through these changes, because it was basically quite open at that point in time. Now, one may argue and say, well, the population of the Cayman Islands at that period in time was probably around 13,000 people in the Cayman Islands at that point in time. So, you know, we needed immigration. We needed more people, you know, to come here and establish themselves. Of course, that changed later on as well. And of course, if you're looking for landmark cases, there was also a case, and this is where sort of, transparency in government was not there, because under the old legislation, the cabinet or the executive council had instructed the board in terms of, the board would go to executive council and say, these are the persons that we're planning on granting Caymanian status. Executive council then would have their hand in it and say, no, this one should be granted, this one shouldn't be. Word got out about that. Someone put in somebody's mailbox the list of the names that had been given to executive council by the board to say that these are the ones that we were granted Caymanian status. When the list came out, a lot of names weren't on there, and there were legal challenges to that. Now, the other corrupt part of that was that under the 1972 law, any decision that was made by the board in relation to work permits and everything else, the appellate body for those decisions was executive council. So you couldn't have a situation where executive council is the appellate body and at the same time they're instructing the board, in terms of who should be granted status and who should not be granted status that were on that list as well. That created a problem. I'm trying to remember the name of the gentleman who brought the case. That also is a landmark case. If you're looking for landmark cases, as far as immigration is concerned, there is the Roper case as well. Dr. Steve McField was definitely involved in that one. The Roper case, as well. But so again, just trying to give you a history of immigration legislation in the Cayman Islands. Of course, we had our immigration law in 1992 as well. I'm not sure that I'm going to have enough time to take a look at that one, but in that piece of legislation, we saw wanted to take a look at that to see whether or not it allowed cabinet to grant Caymanian status. I'll have to deal with that at another show if possible, or when I have Dr. Steve McField on here, because I can't find it in the list that I have here in terms. Here we go. Immigration. That's just an exempt order in relation to it. But we have had several changes to our immigration legislation. I should point that out to you. So we had 1972. We had the amendment 1977. We had our 1984 law. That law, there was a clause in that one called the Hadjigate clause. And those of you in the BRAC and involved at that time in shipping will know that Hadjigate was one of those involved in the offshore transfer of oil in the Cayman Islands. That particular clause, prior to that, remember I pointed out to you that you had to be a British subject in order to qualify for Caymanian status. Our legislators at that point in time, one of our national heroes, I shall call no name, but one of our national heroes, instrumental in changing the legislation that made it possible for Americans to apply for Caymanian status. They didn't then have to be naturalized as citizens of the United Kingdom and colonies before that, allowed Americans. So again, 1984, we opened the floodgates for more in terms of the grant of Caymanian status. Well, so we saw us fluctuating back and forth depending on which party or which group was in power. We saw Mr. Truman Bodden being a visionary, the visionary that he was, saw the threats that the Cayman Islands were up against if we kept that Caymanian status door open and he tried to close it. Then in 1984, we saw that we opened it back up again. One of these days, we'll talk about future legislation as well. I want to thank all of those persons who have been involved in the discussion this morning as well. I want to remind you that we are our brothers and our sisters keepers. There is always someone out there who's less fortunate than we are. I ask you to extend a helping hand to them. If you can't do that, then I suggest you donate to a worthy charity, because we always want to consider those who need, not necessarily those who want or even those who crave. Urge you to continue to support your radio station, Radio Cayman. Join Sterling, Dwayne Banks at 12:15 for Talk Today. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the Record, proudly brought to you by
Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury.
And JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient.
Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama.
And Kirk Market. Experience a world of choice. And the Cayman Islands National Museum. Explore captivating exhibits and learn about our unique heritage and culture.
This is the People's Radio Station. Radio Cayman in the Cayman